Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be getting ready and we are using all new product. Some of it has not even been opened yet. Others I've been using for maybe about a week, but pretty much everything is brand new. It's been purchased or sent in the last 2 weeks. Nothing here is older than 2 weeks old. So I'm really excited to try some of these products and kind of share some opinions on the products that I've been using for the last week or so. We went to New York last week, and I'll talk a little bit about that too as we get going. But I made 3 trips to Sephora in 2 days. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I got some goodies that I'm really excited to try. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have my skincare on, but I am going to prime my makeup using a new primer that I picked up. It's the Beauty Blender, the Leveler Pore Minimizing Primer. Now I got this in New York at Sephora. I was just shopping and the sales guy came over to me and he was just like, "Can I show you something you've never seen before?" I mean, he was really kind of like that. And at first I was like, okay, you know, and you know, I let him, like, he's just sold me on it. And the whole time I'm thinking, I'm getting sold right now and I know better than this, but I actually really like it. I've used it a couple of times. It is a primer that's supposed to minimize pores. It does have like a skin tone tint to it. He was telling me that, you know, for the days you don't want to wear makeup, you can just wear this. Honestly, once it goes on the skin, it really doesn't seem to alter the color of the skin. So it doesn't really even out coloration. It's so sheer. I don't really think that it really, when it goes on the skin, it looks pretty transparent, but I'm just gonna put it here in the center of my face. For foundation, I'm using the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Foundation. It has an SPF of 50. One of my friends recommended this to me. She says she has bought 4 tubes of this already. So I did pick this up and already try this. I ended up having to exchange it for a different color because the color that I first got was way too orange. So the shade that I ended up getting is 128 Warm Nude. And I'm going to use this new Artiste brush that came in my subscription box. And I'm gonna load up my brush. Do I have a mirror here? There we go. And we're gonna apply this on the skin. The times that I've worn this, I've really liked it. Okay, so the colors are a little, I think they're like a either really pink or really yellow. This one seems really yellow, honestly. But much better than the pink because this does really blend into the natural undertones of my skin. I just couldn't find a shade that was lighter that didn't seem too light. So normally I like to opt to go with a little bit lighter than darker because I can always warm up with bronzer. But the lighter shades they had just seemed too light or way too pink. Yeah, see, this is still too dark. I don't know about this. I need to find a good shade. I do like the formula of it, and I love that it has an SPF of 50. I really like that. It feels lightweight, but it gives really nice coverage. I don't know how I feel about this brush. I guess I need to play with it more and kind of learn how to use it. Okay, so let's go to the other side. See how yellow that is and golden? So we had a really great trip to New York last week. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen some of that in stories. We went because we are working on the development of our next product, which I'm so excited about. It won't be until probably second quarter of next year though. Development takes quite a bit of time, but it was very exciting to go and meet with a new partner that we might be working with and just kind of dream up our next product. So exciting. So this color is definitely better. I still think it could be a little lighter, but the tone is much more in line with my natural undertones than the one that I had before. I'm gonna kind of bring this on my neck. This is one that I definitely need to bring down on my neck so I don't have that harsh line. So that does actually blend in. If I were a little darker, it would work a little better, but I think that one works. Okay, so for concealer, I'm really excited to try this. This is a new concealer. It's the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Serum Concealer. Now, you guys know I love the Lift and Illuminate powder. I'm obsessed with that powder. It is such a great powder. So hopefully this concealer does not disappoint. I got the shade Light Medium. I first bought the shade Medium and it was really yellow. So I went and exchanged it for this one. This one looks a little bit lighter, but it's gonna be, I think, a better match than the other. I don't know about this. Okay, the consistency is a little odd. It doesn't, so it says it's a serum concealer and I can kind of feel like the difference in a normal concealer, like it's not as thick. It does feel like a little bit of a serum. You know what I wanted to use? I wanted to use the Beauty Blender, but I couldn't find, oh, here we go. We'll use the Sigma F79 brush to blend this in. So it definitely feels a lot lighter weight. It feels hydrating. Let's see how this works out for us. I do like the balance of the lighter concealer and that foundation. I think this foundation definitely needs a lighter concealer to kind of balance it out a little bit. And I'm just gonna take whatever's left on my brush to run it across my eyelid. Okay, I actually like this concealer. I wasn't sure about the consistency when I first put it on. It seemed really thin and I don't know, but I like the way that it blends out. It actually looks really, really nice. It has a little bit of a radiance under the eye. So it looks hydrating. And it's very thin and but it gives good coverage. Definitely not like a full heavy coverage concealer, but it gives enough coverage. Ooh, I do like that. All right, so we're gonna see how that wears throughout the day, and you guys will definitely get a report back from me on that concealer. Okay, so now we're gonna set everything and we're gonna jump from drugstore to pretty much as high-end as it gets when it comes to powder. The La Mer, the powder I picked up and I'm really enjoying it. It's very pricey. It's like $95 or $100. It's kind of crazy, I know. But I just went ahead and went for it. I really like it. Would I sit here and say, oh my gosh, it's worth it? It's just, you know, I don't know. I don't really know. I have other powders that I like equally as much that are less than half the price. But I really wanted to try it. So I'm actually going to take the Refer brush in 06. It's like their really big powder brush. And I'm going to use the lid to kind of work that powder into the brush. And I'm just going to set everything. I am going to go underneath my eyes. And for that, I need a smaller brush. So I'm going to use this one by Morphe. All right, there we go. Set right underneath the eyes. Okay, so the skin looks really, really good. That combination of products works really well together. And the color of this concealer, I think, is the perfect match for me for this foundation. I don't think that I would find a better match, even though this one's not really great. I don't think I would find a better match because I sat there and I looked at all the testers and like I said, the one lighter than this was way too light and way too pink. Okay, so for brows, I'm really excited to try this product. This was actually sent to me by Miraness Cosmetics. You guys know Miraness. It's I believe they're based in Australia. They're a brand that I love. I love their powder foundation. I love their lip cream products. They sent this product to me. I don't know if it's new or not. It's called All Day Micro Brow Pencil and Definer. So it has a little kind of micro pencil, and then on the other side it has like a thicker, lighter color, which I assume is to highlight underneath the brow. So that's what we're gonna do. They sent me 3 shades. I have the shade Silk Brown. They also sent me like a blonde one and then a cappuccino color. But I think we're gonna do this is definitely the one for me. It's called Silk Brown. And I'm just going to kind of, oh, this is really good. Oh wow, this really has great payoff. Like I'm putting very, very, very light pressure on it. Do you see what it did? That's really impressive. I almost think I could have gone a little lighter too. Okay, that's really nice. It gives very hair-like payoff. So if you have a light hand, the tip is so fine that it really does look like hair. I'm just gonna kind of fill in right here. I do have microblading, but I don't have hair there, so it always looks a little bit lighter there than the rest of my brow. All right. And then before I go and use the lighter color, I'm gonna set this, and I'm gonna use a new brow gel from Wander Beauty. It's called Frame Your Face Precise Brow Gel. And they sent me a couple. They sent me a clear, and then they sent a dark brown. But because I feel like the brows are already a little darker, I'm gonna use the clear. And this is just hopefully gonna set my brows, keep them in place. I don't have a lot of brow hair. Ooh, I like the brush. Ooh, I really like the brush. It's very, very small, and you can see that it's tilted. And it's very, very small. I like that. So even though I don't have a lot of brow hair, the brow hair that I do have kind of grows down. So I always like to use a brow gel just to comb them up and kind of keep them in place. I like to think of it as, you know, using gel or hairspray for your hair. Kind of that's essentially what you're doing with brow gel. Oh, I do like this wand a lot. I'll have to let you guys know when that dries how it feels. Okay, for bronzer, what are we gonna do for bronzer? So to bronze the skin, I'm gonna use this Bronze and Glow Tiny Mini Palette from Natasha Denona. I picked this up in what I call a gauntlet. It's like that little aisle that you stand in line for at Sephora that's just like loaded with products and tempting things to buy. This was one of them and I caved. I thought it was an eyeshadow palette. Like I thought it was just like a little palette of shadow, but I think it's actually for highlight and bronzing the face. So we are gonna give it a try as bronzer. I've been using it on the eyes and I really like it. I'm gonna go in with my 103 BK Beauty bronzer brush. I'm just gonna kind of tap it tap the tip of it into the product. This does look a little bit more kind of orangey, not really the bronzer that I usually like to go with. I like to go with something not quite as warm, but let's give it a try. Okay, that's actually really, really nice. Do you see that? That is really pretty. It's just a small little pan, so if you have a big brush, which most of us do for bronzer, you kind of really got to work it in there. Okay, so next I'm gonna just apply concealer on my eyelids, and that's gonna work as my eye primer today because I don't have a primer in front of me. So we'll just use the same concealer that we used. I'm just gonna put that right on the lid. Try not to put too much, because if you have an excess amount of product, then that gives it more opportunity to move and crease. And then I'm just gonna use the same Sigma brush. Okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna set that, just because I am using a creamy, a serum concealer of all. I'm gonna use the La Mer powder just to kind of set that, to hopefully prevent it from creasing or moving. Perfect. Okay, so let's move on to eye. So I have two palettes that I'm trying to decide between. I have the Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette, which I'm gonna show you what that looks like. It is this, it's beautiful. Look at that. So pretty. And then I also have the Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette. Let me show you what this one looks like. And this one looks beautiful too. I might actually use them both. I think I'm going to, because I do want to play with some of those purples there. Okay, so first, let's go ahead and build our crease color. I'm going to use the Lila palette, and I'm going to use the shade right here. And we're going to use the 201 brush by BK Beauty. And I'm just going to kind of work this into my crease, go back and forth, really shear it out. The shade is just a little, it's like maybe 2 shades darker than my skin tone, so it's not too dark. So I don't have to use a brush that's really precise and small. If I were using a darker shade, then I definitely would work with a smaller brush. Okay, I think I'm actually gonna bring some of this onto my lid on the outer half. Next, I'm going to use this shade on my lid, this shade from the Mini Nude palette. It's a really pretty foiled bronzy shade, and I'm actually just going to use my finger. I was going to use the 203 brush, but I think I'm just going to use my finger, and I'm just going to pack that onto the lid. So I had this suggestion from someone on Instagram. It was like perfect timing, because I've kind of been thinking about doing something like this already, but I want to know what you guys think. So I really want to start incorporating some more content into my channel that's kind of motivational, inspirational, just, I don't know, just around topics that are important to me, health, wellness. You know, I'm not an expert, obviously, so I'm not going to take on topics and pretend to be an expert on them, but just talk about like my own personal experiences in life, and you know, kind of how I try and maintain a positive mindset, and just things that I feel like I'm always in a current stage of like self-improvement. So I want to figure out how to do that on my channel in a way that is interesting to you guys, because I don't really know that just sitting down and talking, you know, to the camera about topics is. So if you have some ideas, like if you think that me doing makeup talking about it would be, or if you think that'd be too distracting, or if you have any ideas for series, I would love to know down below. Okay, so next I'm going to go in, and I think I'm going to leave the eyes like that. I was going to add a little darkness on top, but I don't think it needs, oh, it looks so pretty. I'm like staring at the monitor. The next thing I'm going to do is add like a punch of color on my lower lash line. And for that, I'm going to use this shade right here in the Lila palette, this beautiful bright purple. It's like a really pinkish purple, and I'm going to load up my 204 brush, and we're just going to run that on the lower lash line. This is so beautiful. This color is stunning. I used to wear purples all the time. I loved wearing purples with green eyes because it just makes your green eyes pop. And this is a fun way to wear color if you are someone that feels a little bit safer in neutrals, but you want to wear color. Just pop it as like a lower liner. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay, ooh, that is so pretty. I love this combination of bronze and purples. And I actually ended up bringing this purple over a little bit further than I planned. I planned on stopping halfway, but it just kind of took over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of that bronze sparkle in the inner corner. And actually I'm going to go a little lighter. I'm going to use this like kind of light golden sparkle here. And I'm going to use a 203 brush by BK Beauty just to kind of highlight and soften that inner corner so it's not too heavy and dark. Okay, that's pretty. Now for the brow highlight, I need to dip into kind of one of my staple brow colors. Makeup Geek, it's called Shimma Shimma. This is a really pretty one. It's a little bit more shimmery than I like for my brow highlight, so I just am going to have a very, very light pressure so that it's not too shimmery. I was just talking about this technique in a video that I did about youthful makeup and how not to put a really shimmery brow highlight, but here I am. So, oh, see how shimmery that is? So what I'm doing is, I'm actually gonna kind of blot this brush so that less of that product applies. Yeah, see, even that's a little too shimmery. So what can I do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take some of the La Mer loose powder and just go on top of it. That'll cut down some of that frost. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better. So pretty. Oh my gosh, I love this combination. So for mascara, I'm going to use a new mascara. This was also sent to me in the proscription box by Camera Ready Cosmetics. It's by Temp2 and it's called Built to Lash Mascara. And I do have lash extensions, so I'm just going to apply a little bit of this on the tips of my lashes and then on my lower lashes. Let's see what this wand looks like. Okay, so it's kind of like a traditional mascara wand, nothing too special, but I actually like that. I like kind of good old traditional mascara wands. And I'm gonna just kind of coat the tops. It's very hard for me to judge mascara with lash extensions because, you know, I'm not really seeing how they dramatically change my natural lashes. It does feel like a pretty thin consistency though. Like it doesn't feel, okay, yeah. So on my lower lashes, it's definitely a thinner consistency, not thick at all. It seems like it's almost more of a lengthening mascara than a thickening. Okay. I keep going back and forth on if I'm going to keep my lash extensions or take them off. Today, I'm going to keep them. Yesterday, I wanted to take them off. I just don't want them to be too distracting. I feel like when I do tutorials or if I do like Instagram lives or videos for Instagram, it's hard to see the makeup because the lashes are so distracting. So you guys let me know in the comments below if you think they are or if they don't bother you. I think I might just try and kind of like take them down a notch so they're not so long and thick and see if that helps. For blush, I'm going to use this new blush that I picked up by Tarte. It is the shade Peaceful. And it is the Amazonian Clay formula, which is one of my favorite formulas. The shade Party is one of my favorite blushes of all time. So I thought I would give it a try, but it's the only shade I own in this formula. So I'm picking this one up. It's a pretty pink peach, and it does have some shimmer to it. And I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 104 brush. I have heard you guys, I use this for blush. Now it is bigger than most traditional blush brushes. So we are working on creating something a little smaller. Stay tuned. So I'm gonna smile and just kind of pop this onto the apples of my cheeks and sweep down. I have to say, I love my skin right now. It looks so good. Okay, so if you think you've ever applied too much, you can always just go back in with your powder brush. Okay, for lips, I'm gonna apply this lipstick by Marc Jacobs. I picked it up in 2 shades. I picked up the shade Georgie Girl, which is, I'll show you right here on my hand. It's a bit more pink. And then I picked up another shade. This is what Georgie Girl looks like. So pretty, like, nice mid-tone, kind of cool tone pink. And then I picked up the shade Sonic Truth, which I think is the one we're gonna do today because it's more neutral. So beautiful. So we're gonna apply this. It's called Sonic Truth by Marc Jacobs. And I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it because there's no reason for me to fear saying this. I had a little bit of Juvederm in my lips the other day. I've actually been getting that done for 2 years. I've had it done 3 times, so maybe it's been 3 years. I'm very, very conservative when I do it. So a lot of people don't even notice that I have it. But I did have it done the other day and I got a little bit of a bruise there. So rather than, you know, I was getting ready to film this and I got so nervous about it. I'm like, people are gonna see that and then they're gonna, you know, judge me or say this or that about me in the comments. But you know what? I'm just gonna share it. I've got no reason to hide it. So I'm gonna apply it on my lips. This to me is like that classic muted lip without looking too muted. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so there you have it, you guys. I really love this look. It's so pretty. It's definitely like a little kick up from what I normally do, but I still think it's very wearable for every single day. So beautiful, I love it. Let me zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit closer. So this is the final look. I really, really love it. I have to say that foundation and that combo, that foundation, concealer, and powder was just, I love it. It's like perfect. And I really love the eye makeup. I feel like it's definitely a bump up from my normal day-to-day wear, but I think it's something that I could wear daily. Very, very pretty. All right, you guys, that wraps up this video. I'll have everything that I use linked in the description box below. If you do have suggestions for that content idea that I feel like this tug to create, let me know in the comment section below. If you would want to see that, if you can think of topics that you'd want me to share, let me know, because that is something that I really want to do. But you know, whenever I have these ideas for series, it's something that I really want to fully think out and think of topic ideas, think of execution. How is it going to roll out before I just be like one day, hey, I'm going to do the series, and then I do 2 weeks of it and then I never do it again. So I just really want to kind of plan it out, think it out, and make sure that it's something that that you guys want to see first of all. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.